Well, hello everybody and welcome to today's video. Siggy the Icelandic triathlete here, and this is going to be a little bit special one because we're heading towards Keflavik Airport. Yes, so we are going to be flying out to London in just about 2.5 hours, and the goal with this trip is to then drive up from London to Leeds, or to Harrogate strictly speaking, and there we're going to be doing some sweat testing, so essentially finding out how much salt, how much water I need when I'm doing my racing later this year in Barcelona. So this is basically leaving no stone unturned when it comes to this race and these goals I have. So yeah, we're gonna be landing in London about 11:50 local time, and then getting a rental, driving up towards Leeds. It's gonna be a long drive, and staying the night there before we do the testing tomorrow around noon. Then just driving back to London and staying the night there, and having a flight back here to Iceland the day after. So it's going to be a short stop in the UK, but nevertheless it's going to be an interesting one, so can't wait to show you more from this. But yeah, stay tuned. Keflavik Airport is next, and then it's just the UK. Alright, so, oh dear, what a hassle. The airport was nice as always, but yeah, all jokes aside, it was pretty daft. Had to wait in line for about an hour and a half total, so yeah, it's never fun, is it? So yeah, but we got the rental, so now we're just gonna be driving up to Harrogate. Have to get used to being on the right side of the car. But yeah, I guess we'll get a hang of that pretty quickly. So yeah, everything's set, and let's go. All right, everyone, arrived here at the hotel in Harrogate, Leeds, and we've been staying the night here, so it's the morning on the Tuesday. We're going to be doing the testing with Andy today at 1:30 p.m. But we're going to be meeting up for some coffees beforehand, having a little bit of a chat, and then we're going to go straight into the testing. I'm really excited for this. I can't wait to see how it turns out, because I'm definitely going to learn a lot today, both with regards to how much I should drink, how many salts I should take in, both when it comes to racing and training, and hopefully you can also learn and get some insights from this. So can't wait to meet up with Andy, just over 3 hours now, so yeah, just biding the time until then. But yeah, we'll see you then.
Now, if you're like me, you probably were expecting me to be put in a chamber, where I was sweating profusely, measuring every kind of sweat drop that went out of my body. But, well, it turns out that, it's not as complicated as that. There is the equipment involved, of course, and the setup, the testing in the specialized shop in Harrogate. We had this nice little corner there to test. And, in simple terms, it goes like this. You sit down, you have a little bit of a chat, you put in basic information. We clean the arm well before we put some electrodes on my skin, and the point of this is to stimulate the sweat glands into releasing sweat, and just simple 9 volts going through the hand there. And afterwards you put a special kind of device on the arm that's designed to draw the sweat out. You sit with this for a moment, and then when it's time to remove it, it has drawn out a little bit of sweat into a clear plastic tube. And by analyzing the sweat that has been collected in the tube, you can then or measure directly how much sodium is in your sweat. And like it turns out for me, I'm actually pretty lucky with this, because I am, like Andy says here, a pretty low sodium guy.
So generally with salty people, we see that shoot up into the 60s, 70s.
Okay.
Guys that cramp quite regularly.
Yeah.
You clearly have a low sodium. I can't give you the number straight away. I'll pull that out. And then I'll generally go in 3 times. So 32 is on the real low sodium, millimole of liter concentration. So that's probably why you're getting away with, which is great to know, because you're just guessing. So 33, so I'll just...
And that's the key thing here. You know, prior to this test, I had just been guessing on how much sodium I actually needed, you know, when training and racing. So getting this information now was really critical to kind of take everything to the next level in terms of hydration, because this is what really matters when you go into warm climates and sweat a lot. Just know your numbers. And well, like Andy then points out to me, this is actually just like a genetical factor.
So that's just basically my number.
Your genetics. So that's cool. Do you have a brother or sister? I don't know if you...
Yeah, 2 brothers.
Cool, because I've tested 2 brothers. When I first did this, I was like, oh wow, like maybe I didn't know what I was doing. And they were like 300 milligrams difference. They were completely different.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, which is quite cool, because I've never tested since 2 family members. So you'll be completely different to your brother. It's genetic. Okay, so immediately, so then that's how we categorize. Okay, you then, it's easier to remember, I'm actually a low salty person, but you could sweat double the amount of fluid I do in an hour. I'm pretty similar. I'm 73 kilos. I'm pretty much the same as you.
So this is another key factor. Even though you can actually be a low sodium person like I am, if I sweat 2 times as much as anybody else, you know, I could actually be losing the same amount of sodium. And this is where this equation here comes into play. And this is actually just going to show you how much sodium you're losing net out of the system. And it depends on your sweat rate in the types of conditions you're actually, you know, exercising or racing in. Your genetical factor for how much sodium you're losing per each liter of sweat, and then the duration. So if you're spending an awful lot of time in warm climates and you lose a lot of sweat, you could actually be losing a whole lot of sodium without actually realizing it.
I think it's, you know, I get the whole concept with, you know, the concentration is one thing, and then it's a matter of, you know, how much liquid I actually lose, because like that's going to be like
That's a key factor.
it's a key factor. So like you could have 2 people that, you know,
Same number.
have the same number, but they lose, you know, different kinds of amounts at the same time, because they sweat different rates. And that's why I need to go home now, and I need to put myself into certain types of environments.
And it's quite common sense, really.
I need to find out, you know, how much I sweat, and then we can, you know, go by that and calculate.
Yeah, and then a lot of it you'll know how to do it, because it's not rocket science.
So there you have it. I think this was a lot more informative trip to Hleðsla and Harrogate than I thought it was going to be originally. And now this gives me a much better platform to actually strategize my hydration around. Like you can see, sweating around 676 milligrams of sodium per liter of sweat. And so this makes me actually a low salty person. However, like we mentioned before, I could be sweating, you know, double the amount of, you know, somebody else that has maybe higher sodium levels than me, which would render me eventually to lose more sodium than that particular person. But, you know, these are just my numbers. This is a genetical factor. And so by knowing this now, I can actually strategize my races and training much better. What I'm going to be doing now for the next few weeks is to go into different kinds of scenarios, outdoor bike riding, easy intensity, outdoor bike riding, you know, high intensity, indoor bike riding, you know, running as well, swimming, and I'm gonna actually be finding out how much fluid and how much sweat I'm gonna be losing in these different kinds of scenarios. It's gonna be different for the run, for the bike, for the swim, different for different kinds of intensities. So I'm gonna be really finding out, you know, the sweat rate depending on the intensity and the heart rate, and trying to map out in different kinds of temperatures how much fluid I'm actually losing. And this is going to be a key thing that is going to be coming into play when I plan my racing in Barcelona later this year, because it all depends on the temperature there, how my hydration strategy is going to come into play. But this is all for today. I hope you gained some insight into this. I'm gonna link to Andy's information on Instagram, some exciting things coming up for him in the next few days, I believe. He's gonna be testing some high profile athletes. Yeah, so give him a follow if you like, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching and have a nice day.